Hello, everyone, and welcome on back into the Barretts. Today, we are talking about one of my absolute favorite shows for so many years. I have watched Supernatural since I was at least 14, so almost 10 years. I think I came in around, I think it was maybe season 5 or season 6. Castiel and Crowley were already introduced by the time I started watching, and they were some of my favorite characters. But today, this year in particular, has been a special send-off for Supernatural as it is going into its final season. It's already aired 13 episodes. We still have 7 more to go, at least. They're doing a full 20 episode season. And they have aired 13 because they already had shooted, recorded, and they edited it and pushed it out and aired it. And I guess you could say about halfway through what they've given us. They still have 7 more episodes to go, so at some point we're going to get 7 more episodes, and I wanted to discuss season 15 as a whole. So this will be complete spoilers, absolute many spoilers on the table. So if you have not watched up to episode 13 of this season, do not watch the rest of the video. Go finish it. Come back to this video, and then we can have our discussion. So, this is where these spoilers shall begin. Go away if you don't want to be spoiled. Alright, I gave you plenty of time. So, let's get into season 15 of Supernatural. Let's just start off with the obvious. The main villain for this season is God. It's fucking God. Chuck as well, as if you also could know him as Chuck. It's God/Chuck. And I did not expect that when he came in at the end of season 14 and tricked Sam and Dean to try and kill Jack. Because let's be honest here, I think this is very obvious. Chuck is very much scared of Jack. Like, let's be real here. You know, Jack is a Nephilim. Jack is a human and archangel product. So he has a lot of power, and I think God is finally scared of that, because when he was first born, you'd think God would have maybe come in and stepped in and take care of him. But he wasn't really afraid of him yet because he was still an infant. He was just learning about who he is and about what his powers are. So I think at that point, Chuck wasn't really afraid of him yet. And then when he got stuck in the other dimension with the apocalyptic angel fight, they weren't really, again, he wasn't scared of him yet, you know? And he was in another dimension, he was contained, wasn't scared of him yet, right? And then, of course, Lucifer took his powers, so he was balling, he was happy, he was like, yeah, I don't have to deal with, come in and step in if Jack gets too powerful. And Jack at this point is only still about 2 years old. He's still very much an infant. Even though he doesn't look it, but he's still very much an infant when it comes to his powers and what he's capable of. So, when it comes to that, he isn't really scared of him yet. Now, of course, season 14 came along, and he died, and again, I'm sure Chuck was just absolutely off the walls ecstatic about that. He didn't have to do anything about it. So Jack died, and eventually Sam and Dean brought him back with some very sketchy magic where, to keep him alive, he has to burn off his soul to keep his cells from, eating each other, I guess what's going on. So then he came back. He still had his soul at that point. He didn't have any powers, though. But he was just burning off a little bit of his soul just to keep him alive. And then Michael came around, and Jack took his Archangel Grace, killed him, burned off his soul completely, and took his Archangel Grace. Now, Chuck was probably getting concerned. Now he's fully powered with an Archangel Grace, so, and now he has absolutely no soul. He has no human soul to keep him from doing whatever he wants to do. He has no feelings whatsoever. He can pretty much tap into his full potential. And that's what we saw at the end of season 14, when he broke out of that box that Dean made. So, he made the world not be able to lie. Just said, no more lying. And Chuck, that's when he intervened. He tried to play it off Castiel like, oh, well, when you called me with that device, you were able, I heard it, and here I am. A bunch of bullshit, as we learn. And he tried to get Sam and Dean to kill him with the equalizer. And then, instead of killing Jack, Sam shot Chuck after he smited Jack. Because if they weren't going to do it, well, you can't just have Jack running around. So he decided to smite him, and he dropped dead. Let me just say, I was very, very sad and shocked when that happened. Because I hadn't, of course, no one had started, I hadn't have started season 15 yet. So, when Jack died, I was devastated. I'm like, what the fuck, man? What did God possibly, why did God do that? Why did Chuck do that? Was he afraid of his powers? And I think he genuinely was. So, then Chuck started the apocalypse, and let me tell you, this season has been a roller coaster of emotions and deaths of many, many great characters. Season 14, Mary died, which is upsetting. And then season 15, fucking Rowena dies, and Ketch, and it's just like, god damn it, I was starting to like those two. I even started liking Rowena more. But her prophecy came through. Like, the book that she read from death came true. She got killed by Sam because she had to sacrifice herself to be able to save the world, pretty much. Because there's no way to get rid of those ghosts when they already took care of them and sent them to hell. So she took them with her, and it was depressing. Ketch, and poor Ketch, he did dirty. You know, he did very dirty when it comes to the whole Belphegor and whoever that other demon was they were trying to seize power of hell. Now that Crowley's been dead for a while, which you think they would have fixed that a long time ago when Crowley died, like 2 seasons ago, but whatever. So it's been a roller coaster. And then all of a sudden, Eileen comes back. And then we find out God orchestrated that too. Eileen comes back from being, she was a ghost. We also saw, what we also saw was Kevin too. Oh man. I was so sad to see that Kevin went to hell. That boy did not deserve that whatsoever. He did not deserve it. And I am so pissed that they did that. Poor Kevin. You got done dirty for that. And I hate Chuck even more because of that. Because Kevin didn't deserve to be sent to hell. He really didn't. So, now that Chuck has been let loose and has been shot, Sam and Chuck kind of had this connection, like they had the wound, obviously, whatever the equalizer, if you shot someone with the equalizer and you were tend to kill or wound or whatever, you'd have the same thing happen to you. So say if, when they were going to shoot Jack, if Dean killed Jack, he would have been killed too. Again. Shocker. But Sam, I don't know what Sam was doing. I think Sam knew that he couldn't kill Chuck because if Chuck dies, the world would be out of complete balance. So he just shot him to wound him, and it worked. Right? It worked. He couldn't just travel to a universe wherever the hell he wanted to go. He was stuck. And Chuck eventually went to see Amara, and Amara was like, "Nah, fuck you. You trapped me in that mark for eons." And she was like, "This is gonna be your prison now." And she wasn't helping him. She was just not having it. And eventually, Sam could kind of see what Chuck was trying to do. He could see a whole bunch of different scenarios play out between him and Dean, where the two of them would like kill each other. Right? There was one where Sam was possessed by a demon, or I think he was possessed by Lucifer, one of the two, and he shot and killed Dean. And it seemed like that's what Chuck wants between the two of them. He wants them to kill each other. Poetic, as he is a writer. So they had to figure out a way to get Chuck to be contained, right? They can't just let him roam free, because now Chuck hates them, right? Chuck does not like them whatsoever anymore. He's not playing his game anymore. He's not playing his writing. They're not going through the motions that he wants them to do. So he doesn't like them anymore. You even see that they took away their like hero luck. I mean, we see that Sam and Dean, never have a usual problem. The Impala runs perfectly all the time, which is very weird. And we even see that Dean, without his little hero's luck that God gives him, is lactose intolerant. So we go through the whole episode with them and Garth, which is adorable to see Garth with a family. He even had twins, and he named them Sam and Castiel. Poor Dean can't even be named after Garth's children. Sam and Castiel. Never would have expected that. And you see it, that they're normal. Like they have car issues now. Dean gets to be lactose intolerant. It's crazy that God had such a. They even addressed that with their hero's luck. And they eventually do get it back with the help of the luck goddess. But they were going through trying to figure out ways to get rid of God without actually killing him, because they know if he killed God, they're just going to be in balance. So they were going to do this whole plan to trap him. And while it was a great idea, it was a great idea at the beginning, it turns out it wasn't going to be oh so great. Because at some point, Chuck does capture Sam and Eileen, and Chuck tries to get the wound off of him, or whatever is holding him here. He thought something was in Sam's wound, and it turns out that wasn't the case. It was Sam's hope that he knows that this is gonna be a thing. They're gonna fucking win. They're gonna get rid of Chuck, and they're gonna have their free will, and they're going to be able to do whatever the hell they want without him tapping his little grimy hands into their lives like he's been doing. And to destroy his hope, Chuck shows him the future of what it would be if they do win with their plan of trapping him in a mark like he did with Mara. So they did that. He saw that monsters start showing up more and more and more frequently than they do now. And eventually, not only do a lot of their friends die, like Claire, I think, bites the dust at some point. Poor Jody goes into Jody turns into a Bobby, where she's throwing herself into hunts so much, and even dangerous ones, to points where she's trying to pretty much get herself killed and going out in a blaze of glory, because she just can't live without Claire. And you see that as well turn to that, as well as tension between Sam and Dean rise, right? But they know they can't just kill it. They won't kill each other, right? They won't do that. But at one point, Dean even wants to stop hunting. Sam wants to continue because, they've lost so much, and it's their livelihood. Sam and Dean kind of do the reverse swap, where Sam wants to continue hunting, but Dean doesn't. And then eventually they even show where they die. So the way they die is the hunters, their friends, come after them because they got turned into what I feel like was vampires. I think they got turned into vampires. I don't think it was werewolves. They got turned into vampires, and of course they went on a killing spree, I believe. And the hunters were hunting them. So Jody, Bobby, and a bunch of other hunters, they came after them. And eventually they had a fight. They all fought. And I think one of them, either Sam or Dean, kills Jody. And Bobby is the one that gets the killing blow on both of them. I think it was Jody that had the killing blow on Sam, or one of them. And then it was just either Sam or Dean left, and then Bobby came in and just smacked their heads off. So after that, Sam's hope was just gone. And they decided to not do the mark plan at all. And then we see the return of Jack. At the beginning of the season, we even saw Billy go get Jack from the empty and bring him back and kind of send him on this quest to regain his powers somewhat of the natural way. He goes and eats hearts of these creatures that are like angels. I don't know the name of these creatures off the top of my head. But he eats the hearts of them, like a lot of them. And that's how he kind of regains his angel grace. Not really to the point where it's powerful as an archangel, but just his angel grace. And then he eventually did send on another quest to find this object. I forgot the name of it off the top of my head. Where they do eventually find it. And during this, they even brought in some cameos from Ruby and Meg, which was really cool. I thought that was really cool. And of course, I think the sister angel, I think her name was Sister Joe, the one that was like healing people. She was also involved in all of this as well. And they brought in Ruby and Meg, which was very cool to find the object. It was nice seeing them again. Obviously, they're in the empty because they died. So, they find this object, and Jack gets sent to the Garden of Eve, where Adam and Eve were. That was like this little sanctuary where only angels and I guess demons can go. No humans can go. So, only angels and demons can go to this place. Mainly angels, I believe. And Jack went, and he got his soul back from that place. And now he can feel again, He came back, and he apologized to Sam and Dean. He was very remorseful for what happened to Mary, and all the stuff that he did when he didn't have a soul. He was very remorseful of it. He apologized. He was crying, He felt so horrible about it. And we can see that these quests that Billy is sending him on are quests to make him powerful enough to defeat God. And this will lead to where we get into our little tinfoil hat discussion of what could possibly happen in these last 7 episodes of Supernatural. Now, some plots have been leaked. One of them, I think one episode is going to be dealing with the Men of Letters, like just the origin of the Men of Letters and how like Sam and Dean's like family kind of became part of this. And I feel like though where this is definitely going to be heading, to me, I don't know if we're going to get a happy ending per se with everybody. But when in terms of like who's gonna win, it definitely will be Chuck. With Jack back and being able to get his powers back a more natural way, instead of him being screwed with no soul, he's gonna be able to rival God. And I think the whole plan, and even they already pretty much came out and said this, the whole plan is for Jack to defeat Chuck, kill him, and take over as God. And I definitely do see that happen. I think this is very obvious that this is where the plot's going. But I think the one thing that's going to be very interesting is how is Amara going to fit into all of this? Because Amara's still here. Amara is still around. She's in Reno or Vegas or one of the two, just gambling. You know, she's going to the casino at every night, gambling. She's having a grand old time, just living her life as just normal. And I think she likes that. But as we saw from the episode where Chuck goes to see Amara to try and leave, Amara just did not give a shit. She didn't care. She didn't want anything to do with Chuck and want him to be imprisoned in this universe instead of hopping around wherever he went, you know. And we already see Chuck is destroying all of the worlds that he created, all the universes he created. And Amara was just like, I'm not having a part of this. You can stay right here. I don't give a shit about your problems. I don't give a shit about what you're going through. You trapped me in that mark, and she still has a grudge against him. You know, being trapped in that mark for eons, yeah, she has a 100% grudge against him. And it's just, it's obvious. I think, to me, where this is going to be going is that I think Jack will defeat Chuck, for sure. And I think, like, when it comes to Amara, I feel like Amara definitely won't come to help Chuck at all when their battle comes. I think Amara's gonna let this play out. She wants nothing to do with this. That's the vibe she gives me. She just wants to go gamble and have fun. That's all she cares about doing. And I think when Jack ultimately probably wins, I feel like Amara's just gonna let it happen. I don't think she's gonna be like, nah, and then intervene and try and kill Jack. I think she's gonna let it happen. You know, I think she's getting tired of Chuck. I think she's getting tired of his ego and his narcissism, and still definitely holding that grudge that she has on him about getting locked away. So in terms of like what could happen with Amara, I think Amara is definitely gonna be okay with this, and I think she's definitely gonna be, you know, able to is gonna be able to keep a balance with Jack to keep the universe stable. Right? I don't think one or the other is going to happen, and I don't think they're going to need to trap Amara back into a mark whatsoever. I think they'll be able to smooth it out, and I think Amara will be okay with it, because Jack, not only will he have the power to be God, he'll also have the human soul still. Right? He'll still have his soul. He'll still be able to make probably more better decisions than Chuck ever made. I guess when it comes to like the balance of the world and how he keeps things and how he governs everything, I think he'll be a much better ruler because he has that human soul. He has more compassion, you know, not like Chuck who just ups and leaves. And I feel like he's just like, oh well, you don't understand the rules about being God. You don't understand how we can't intervene. And it's like, well, clearly you can. You just choose when to, because you want to see this play out. I think Jack will be a lot more of a benevolent God than Chuck ever was. I think he'll be more there, especially for the angels. You know, he'll be more there for, you know, humanity. I feel like he'll just be a better God than Chuck ever was. And that's kind of how I see it going in terms of that. In terms of just like the general ending, I feel like Castiel will probably become the new Naomi, like the new leader of the angels, just take command, because not only is he, you know, I could see him becoming an archangel, to be honest. I feel like Jack would definitely make him an archangel, and be his second in command to him. In terms of Sam and Dean, you know, I feel like they just keep trucking along, doing what they do, you know, hunting. That's what they do. I don't think they'd settle down. I don't think they'd have like a little happy ending like most shows try and do. I feel like they would just continue on with what they're doing. You know, keep things in balance, keep you know, monsters at bay, and do what they need to do. In terms of just like the side characters, I really hope they don't kill Bobby. I really hope Jody and Donna stay alive. If Jody dies, I would be so upset. I would cry my eyes out if Jody dies. Donna has definitely warmed up to me, for sure. And we've already dealt with Bobby's death once. Don't you dare kill him again. You know, it's like, don't you fucking dare kill Bobby again. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see how these last 7 episodes play out. I will definitely be making a follow-up once the last 7 episodes air and I watch them all. And I'll make like a final video about my thoughts and just give some nostalgia, go back down memory lane of Supernatural when the last episode airs. It's gonna be sad. I'm gonna probably cry my eyes out when that last episode airs. And I think this show will just go down in TV history for being, in my opinion, even though it's a lot of rinse and repeat in terms of just like, oh, you know, you got the overall bad guy villain, you got, you know, these little filler episodes where they go and hunt things and stuff like that, and all of that, but they still made it interesting, and it was still one of CW's best shows to date. I would definitely like to see a spinoff of, like, maybe, like, with Claire and Kaya, since they did bring back the Kaya from this universe. Not the Kaya that was a spear-wielding badass. I feel like I'd love to see, like, a little spin-off series with Claire and Kaya and Alex, you know, Jody's foster children, pretty much. And that would be very interesting. I hope maybe they will, maybe they won't, who knows. Obviously the main cast is gonna be, I mean, probably, definitely not any more Supernatural, but, you know, could they make a cameo in a spinoff? Sure, I could see that happening, but this is it for Supernatural, and it's gonna be very sad when that last episode airs. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought of this season so far, and what you think of what's gonna happen. What do you think is gonna happen at the end? I definitely do see Jack becoming God, and I see just them continuing on with their lives, and maybe Castiel becoming an archangel. I mean, I think that'd be badass for him. All the shit he's been through, shit, he deserves that. It is gonna be sad though if you know, whenever he does become like happy, and then the empty comes and takes him. I hope he doesn't let himself become happy. That sounds so sad to say, but I don't want to see Castiel living in the empty at all, especially after he made that deal with it. I'm gonna be so upset if they do allude to that. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me, guys. I definitely want to do more of these types of videos with just like talking about TV shows. The next one I probably want to do is definitely about how to get away with murder. The last season finally came on Netflix, and I watched it, and it was interesting to say the least. Very interesting. So that'll probably be the next one. And yeah, don't forget to check me out on Twitch. And follow me on all my social medias. Links will be in the description below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the bears again very soon.